it's a good. So what's funny is you're a twin, as we all know,
Yes.
and you're going to spend your birthday with your twin sister. So
Yes.
when was the last time you guys actually did that?
It's been so long, I don't remember. I think we had a co-barbecue years ago. So turning 55,
Yes,
and
welcome,
it's
welcome.
it's kind of a nice like year to spend that with someone else who's turning 55 with you.
Welcome to the world, 55. Yes.
Yes. So we'll have a nice meal at one of my favorite restaurants in Arizona because that's where I'm going. Um, yeah, I can't believe my birthday is approaching so fast.
Yes. And so I want to give a shout out by the time this airs. It's our friend Flolo's birthday on the 24th of June. Oh,
Nice.
it's not a milestone, but he's getting close to a milestone. And on the 29th of June, all these Cancerians everywhere. On
Yes.
the 29th of June is Benita's birthday.
Oh,
So,
that's
so
neat.
she made it. I mean, like I said, last year was rough, but she made it another year. And so she's kicking and screaming. So we're gonna so I'm taking her and Flo out together. We're gonna spend it all together. We're gonna combine.
Oh, that's so sweet.
That'll be very cute because he has no family out here or anything. So I said
Yeah.
we're his family. So we're gonna so we're on the Cancer birthday. So all you can
Woohoo.
on the road. On the road.
Yeah.
I love that.
We're
But
we're good people.
you guys are. And I get along. Cancer's great. I mean, cancers and Taurus, we know each other. We get along fine. Yeah, we understand. Cancer's like security, and we like security also. We both don't like dumb people, so that works. We don't like that. We're a little more fearless than you guys are. We just go out there. We'll just do it. We'll bring you along with us. You guys will come along. I'll do it. But come along. I'm the first to say, let's do it. And then you're like, okay,
For sure.
that works. That works. But no, it's. I mean, it is interesting. I've been 55 for a month. I look at it, I go, it's like it's weird because I feel like no age sometimes.
Yes.
And then like yesterday and today, I'm feeling like I'm 100 years old because I did all this work and I did all this
Mhm.
physical labor stuff, and it was like, oh. But I was able to do it when I was doing it. I mean, I did it, and I did it with all. I did it with the plum
Yeah.
and with the moxie. I did it. But it was afterwards. You're like, oh my god, in heaven. And it's something else.
It is. It is. I was at mom's 5,000 feet of elevation as the kicker to my story. Clearing out boxes, creating boxes, packing, donations, running all over the mountain. And I got to tell you, I got home on Sunday and that was Father's Day. So we had a barbecue for Les. After the family left at 8:30, I was so tired. I said to Les, I said, I am so physically old. I cut myself a little break because I was at elevation, but all the packing and unpacking and the up and down, it's a tri-level condo. So up and down, up and down. Oh, James. I mean,
I know. I know.
yeah.
No,
So that's
remember, no, remember, girlfriend, when we met, I used to run when you were on the committee, we used to run around all these resorts, putting stuff together, mom. Putting all this stuff together. It was a lot of
yeah.
running around. Where
Yes.
one day we were all day long putting together those bags. Remember that?
Oh God.
Remember that F? Like I'm sorry, start cussing. Remember that F? I mean, I'm saying it's like there was a lot of stamina we had to do, and some of those
Yes.
resorts were really big. We had to run over here. Well, me and Nick would run everywhere. So I understand.
Yes.
Like that, it was
Yes.
different when I was younger. When we were younger, it's a little different.
Yeah. And then we were out partying to all hours of the
Right.
morning and then back to class at
Right.
what, 8 o'clock?
Yeah,
I
usually
don't know
8 o'clock.
how we
Usually 8
did it.
o'clock. Usually 8 o'clock. Because I
But
remember.
here's the thing, like when we got home, like I didn't need a week's rest.
No, same here. Yeah.
If we were to do that, that would be the funniest thing. For you and I to go and run like a
Right.
conference,
Yes.
and then at the end of it, oh my gosh, we might have to be hospitalized. We need oxygen and we need like painkillers.
Totally. No, I mean, but that's kind of funny thing about how it sneaks up on you because like you're right
Yeah.
because Nick and I did 13 conferences a year. Like every month we were flying, so and we had to fly somewhere, which adds it does add travel does add to the exhaustion and the movement
Yes.
and all that. Checking into hotels, and we were always like for us, it was like did so and so's materials get here? Check the
Right.
front desk. You remember all that. It's like it's in my
Yes.
like what, earworms on our last show. I can't get event planning out of my brain. It comes right back to me. I did it for so long. I could do it with my eyes closed because I just registration set up. Where is there coffee and stuff set up in the morning? You get there by 6:45. I mean, I know all of it, Melissa. Oh my God, I want to jump out of a building. I can't get out of my brain because
Yeah.
literally, because I remember we was like, okay, Nick was like, okay, well, James, can you go check real quick? The coffee's out this time. Okay, you do it tomorrow. Okay, I'll do it today. And we would get up, and I would make sure the coffee's all ready outside the front of the room, speaking
Oh
room.
yeah.
Then
Oh
we had to make
yeah.
sure the projectors were set up. And all that. I mean, trust me, I know.
Yes.
Woo! And there'd be some
Mhm.
folks walking in there who are a little older than us, but they had their shades on. Somebody
Well, that
attending.
would be us today.
And that'd be us today. I know, right?
I
There are
might
folks
just wear a full mask.
like, I love it. Are you ready? I saw a few of the older folks had some shades on. I'm like, okay,
Of
kids.
course.
Mhm.
Of course.
But that's just and at the same time, for about 7 of those years, I lived on a second floor. So every day at home I had steps, landing, steps inside. Then my room was on the second floor. Steps, landing to my bedroom. So I was going 3 flights of steps and down every day, like it was
Mhm.
nobody's business. I had great legs.
Oh, I bet.
Nobody's lit business. So on top of that, I'm just saying that so young, I was fine. I mean, I just did it and
Yeah.
just did it. So
Yeah.
now it's a little rough.
Now it's a little rough. Yeah. Always lived in second story apartments on the second floor, didn't phase me. Never thought about it. Of course, I was going to the gym regularly at that time too. So, you know,
I know.
I was in shape at one part of my life.
Yeah, I love that. But hey, the great parts of being 55 are we have lived through a lot of life and we do know certain things.
Yeah.
One of the things I always tell people is that as you get older, I always joke that the older I get, the less I know because education always continues. But I said,
Mhm.
but the other part of it is, but I do know I will survive on some level. We will survive. We've been through a bunch of
Yes,
different things, and our generation, especially the Gen X generation, we have been left alone a lot.
we have.
We have. I mean, we know how to. We're self-start. We just figure it out, don't we?
Yes, we are definitely self-starters. It's funny you say that. Um, because I remember being young and in high school, and everything was so dramatic. My life is going to be over. This friend doesn't like me anymore. That boy doesn't, da 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 da, on and on and on. And then they have the high, oh, that boy likes me, or whatever. I've made a new friend. But it was just you were so self-absorbed, right, into the emotions of everything. That alone is exhausting, and that I'm grateful for not. I don't even think in those same
Yeah,
veins anymore.
same
So
here.
like I see, again, younger grandkids, and I can just in visits see how they're changing. And I'm like, oh, I remember that stage. 13, yeah, I remember that stage. So it does take me back, and I giggle a little bit because, you know, it's all about them.
It is.
And, we're so uncool at this age,
Oh yeah.
right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So when I talk about street credit, when I'm going out to these cooler like concerts and seeing the artists that all the kids like, that's like legitimate. They look at me
Oh,
like,
I know.
wait, really?
Right.
Yeah, yeah, was there.
Mhm.
They don't believe it.
Well, it's funny. My grandkids, I have different stages. So one of my grandsons just graduated high school, but my other grandsons, I'm like
Yeah.
crazy. He'll be 18 later this year. But my granddaughter and them is circling around. There's a point where you're right. You're kind of not cool. They love you, but they won't even bother. It's all about them. But now she's getting older enough where she's starting to come back around where she wants me around. She's
Oh,
texting me. She's like sharing stuff with me, and we're laughing and talking like adults because I have to forge this new relationship with them. So it's interesting that it does come. I always talk about it does come back around. And same with parents, it comes back around at some level. I said we all go buck wild for a minute. That's the whole point. You don't want to be. I mean, I don't be around my mother or whatever. I'll be around them. I get
right.
time. So I'm watching my daughter go through it. I'm like, trust me, this happens. You did it to me. So like this happens. But at some point, so the older ones are starting to come back around a little bit. So she's seeing it. I'm like, don't worry, we're never going to
Yeah.
forsake it forever. It's just that when you're a new adult or when you're a new teenager or you're a new, it's a new experience. It's like there's hormones flying everywhere, and you're
Mhm.
thinking more, and you have a little more freedom than when you were a kid.
Yeah.
So it's like just I always see like they're going to push the boundaries. They're going to test things. They're trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
But see, we were
Good
alone.
days.
Our parents weren't on top of us that hard like that.
No, I mean, my mom and dad worked.
Yeah,
My
same.
mom stayed home with us until mm, I even forget the age now. Pretty far.
Oh, really?
I just remember coming home from junior high and my parents were working at that stage.
My grandmother too.
Both of them. Dad always worked, but mom, I think, went to work when we were in junior high. So seventh grade, we were, I think, alone in the house for a couple
Right,
hours until mom
right,
and dad, got home from work.
exactly. Exactly.
So
Same here. Yeah.
yeah. And we were self-starters. That's a very interesting thing because um we had to learn to take care of ourselves, even though it's just a couple hour window. And some people are like, oh my God, the parents left their kid. Trust me, folks, at that stage in life, it was fine. It was generally accepted.
Yeah, it totally was. I mean, latchkey
There
kid.
was no helicopter parenting going on when
Nope,
James and I were growing up.
nope, there sure wasn't. There wasn't.
So, and I think we're better off for it. It
It
instilled a sense of independence, responsibility, and you had to earn the trust. It wasn't just like, your parents weren't just going to leave you alone. You literally had to earn their trust. And if you messed up, we really heard about it because they were like worried, like, what do you can't do that when we're not here, kind of a thing. I don't know. It was just more of an adult like relationship with your parents
Mhm.
at a younger age. Right. So I see like a lot of the younger kids, having, still looking at their parents as their parent as opposed to a person, an individual, and having an adult relationship.
Yeah.
So I'm just grateful that we grew up in the time that we did. My mom is, one of my best friends, and she's my mom always, and there's always that level of respect. Um, but I also see her for who she is as a person.
Same here. Yeah, my mother
So
and I.
I
She
really
always says we
enjoy
grew up
that.
together. My mother says, "Oh, she always says we grew up together."
Yeah. Well, my mom was a very young mom.
Yep,
So we literally did grow up together.
mine too.
Yeah.
It's funny you say it because even though we're kind of left alone, I resented it a little bit as I got older, and I learned about. I mean, later I reconciled it, but they had to work. It was one of those
Yeah.
things that now it was a harder time, and things were getting more expensive here in LA. And my mother had to get a job. She was home to about 9 or 10, also. And then she had to get a job. And she was trying to find herself, like, what kind of job does she want? Like, what can I do? And she found her niche and was an operator for airport police. But I had jobs since I was 15. So I mean, I had a job. But you're right. It's one of those things where
Yeah.
even if they weren't there, you get in trouble still. That's the
Oh
whole thing.
God,
Like,
yeah.
if you didn't do these certain things,
Yeah.
if you weren't home when they were home, then yes, then there was consequence. There was consequence.
Absolutely.
It was just
Yes.
like
And
law.
I'm well aware.
Yes.
Thanks, Mom, for putting up
Well,
with me.
it's funny hearing my mother and our buddy Flobo, who's a friend of the show, getting to know each other. We've been hanging out a couple of times. He's been helping us out, and she's telling all these stories about me as a kid, or JR, my brother Max, whatever. He's going, that tracks. That tracks. She's like, no, but James was really good. He was a good kid. She's like, he was really one of those kids who took care of business. I wasn't perfect at all like that. I did bad things, but he's like, but because my kids, when they went to school,
Mhm.
they did their homework and stuff. They didn't have any major parties or anything in the house. I said, I'm sure they're doing something probably should be doing it here and there, but when I got home, they were home. And if I told James to make dinner for this, make for your brother, he did it. Like it's like we had responsibility. Having that key was a responsibility. Like you said,
Yes.
they had to say like which kid can have the key. Can they trust you? We used to walk to school together or walk to like you have to stick with your brothers and so you have to stay with them. You could just
Yep.
walk off. It was your responsibility to look after. Like you had It was real responsibility. It wasn't like
Yes.
kind of like, well, if you don't watch them, oh well, like no, you get really get in trouble. They had to call your parents to school because you didn't do so and such and such.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a big deal.
Sounds like I pushed a little bit more boundaries than you did, but as my mom would put it, you turned out just fine.
You did. You did great. I mean, that's the thing about our generation. A lot of us, we did a lot of stuff. I did a lot of stuff later,
Yeah.
but I was very I was also very cognizant of wanting. I had goals. Even when I've always had goals. It's just me. I was
Oh,
like 2 years old with goals. She said so. I always had goals, and I was like, I wanted certain things, so I wouldn't go too far because I really wanted to accomplish certain things. That's kind
sure.
of what kept me out of trouble many times. I after high school, college and that time, stuff. Then I had some fun. Got to San Francisco, and then I really had some fun. But that's what I was
Mhm.
doing. That was a whole other world. But no, by no growing up though, it was very. I had certain goals and things. I wanted money for certain things. We were poor, so I wanted
Yes.
certain things. And
Well, yes, making money was a big, I was working 15 and a half whenever
yep,
the, through high school, whatever the legal age was.
right, right.
Started with a Christmas job for money because I wanted to start buying my own presents for my family. And I've worked, I mean, steady since I was 16 years old. So we went to work really young back in the day. You know, like having a part-time job was a big deal. We were saving for cars.
Yes, yes.
Um,
Class
you
rings,
know,
jackets. I mean, like just you wanted those Jordache jeans. Should you want that guest?
I did. And I had them.
Oh, girl, I went to Sherman Oaks Galleria to the guest store to buy this stonewashed guest jacket that I wanted
Yep.
for $110, and I was with my own money. I was so
Yep.
proud. I wore the S out of that jacket. I wore it for like a whole year and a half, and
Oh yeah.
I thought I
I
was
remember them. I had a guest vest and matching jeans that my grandmother would take us to Bullock's when we
oh
were
Bullocks, yes,
teenagers.
I know Bullocks.
And we got to pick an outfit and it didn't matter what the cost was. But it was a outfit. So I grabbed the guests up just, and I'm kind of looking like, is this okay? And she's looking at the price. She goes, it's fine.
It's an outfit, just one outfit. That's good. You wear
Yeah.
the
But
out of that
I
outfit.
mean, because that was a little bit expensive, but I remember my first purchase when I felt like an adult was a ruby and diamond cocktail ring, small, from a local jeweler. And I had saved up. I saw it in the window, and I thought, oh, I just fell in love with it. I don't even understand why at the time, but I did. So I saved my money, and I told my mom, today's the day I'm going to go buy the ring, without even realizing, James, that it might not even be there. Right? It was my ring. That's how I,
Yes,
and thankfully,
it was
when I
there.
had enough money, the ring was still there. And I went into the store and I bought it with cash all by myself.
Oh,
And I felt like a grown up at that moment.
I love it. I don't know if you remember, I used to sell gold by the inch. These have these little small.
Yes.
So
Yes.
James, his best friend Brian Marshall, we were so excited. I was a junior in high school. I made enough money. I'm buying me like 8 inches of gold. I would get, I don't know, it was like we're gonna get white gold and all this stuff. And I remember going to the mall and I was like, okay, I want 7 inches of that. And he was like, I want 10 inches of that. I mean, we would get our white gold. So I don't even know if it's real or fake or whatever. But I was so proud to get my gold chains, the 80s folks, the gold chain. So we had to get our gold chains.
Yes.
I'm always like bling. I don't have anything on right now, but I used to love bling. I'm a blingy. My family were very blingy. My granddaughter's that way. My daughter's that way. My mom, we're bling culture. We like lots of jewelry.
Jewelry. I do. I love precious gemstones. I love them. I have a tiny little collection. Nothing major,
Well,
but that's so funny because you and I have had such similar experiences because we grew up in the same time
yes,
and didn't even know each other. And it's great that we can like relate and laugh
mhm. Yeah,
at this stage in our lives where we had a moment where we bought something that made us feel like we were adults
yeah,
because we had worked towards it.
yes, yeah,
And I think that is part of, like, you went back to goals. I think that is part of learning how to set a goal and earn it. right? Goals just don't, you don't reach a goal, it just happens. You have to work for it. And I think that's like the independence that was instilled on us, our work ethic was instilled upon us in an age where things were crazy. Like the 80s were just a huge party. If we were adults in the 80s, oh my God.
I know. Yes. My parents did a lot of stuff. I know they were doing stuff I don't know all about. I'm finding out things later. I'm like, you did what? You went where?
Yeah. Oh
Uh,
yeah.
yeah,
Hmm.
they had a lot of fun because it was greed, excess.
Oh
It was,
yeah,
and my
everything.
mom had big hair and she had these beautiful dresses. And I see her getting dresses. Her eyeshadow and her blue eyeshadow, and I got all that back.
Yeah.
I got pictures. All right, and my father was dating everybody in the world. He was having a good time too. I mean, they were all having a good time. Yeah, and
Yeah.
we were making money. Everybody was making money, and in my house,
Yes.
by then, everybody was the kids were all making our own money, and it was great. I mean, people had cars. My siblings had
Yep.
cars, and
Yeah.
friends had
But that was
cars.
the thing. Like we really at 16, 17, we had cars. Like that was one of the goals
Yes,
in all of my social circles.
yeah,
Everybody had to have a car. It was the thing to do. I
yes.
don't know if that's the same today.
I don't think it is. I don't think it is. And I think it's also regional. LA is like just or Southern California. We're very car.
Sure. Yeah, good point.
New York, they don't do that, and San Francisco don't do that. But here, it's very car. Because I remember going to San Francisco, and they're like nobody had cars. I'm like
Yeah.
subways. So, but here in LA, it's very car. It's very big car culture. I think still to this day. I don't know for younger people, Gen Z. I'll say Gen Z. I have no idea and just new Gen Alpha what they're thinking. I know that my latest grandson doesn't even drive. He's 17 to drive.
Yeah.
I'm not
Okay.
in a rush. And my other grandson wasn't in a rush either. He drives now, but he wasn't even in a rush. So it's kind of like, we're not in a rush. I mean, my daughters wanted to drive as soon as they could. They were like, 13, can you get a car? I'm like, no, no, girl, you're going to get a car at 13. They're ready. But this next generation, the couple that I've dealt with, they weren't in a rush.
Hmm.
They're just like, okay. Like us, like I said, you want a car, but that's the whole thing. What kind of car are you going to get and what car
Yep.
you're part of? And, we're going to the
Yeah.
beach and, and all that. I mean, all that's like cruising down Hollywood Boulevard. I mean, all that stuff.
Yeah.
It
Oh
was
yeah.
like, there was all that. We're very much car, but we're very much car, clothes, conscious society, especially back then.
Yeah, for
That
sure.
was LA. That was just kind of that's probably why we have similar experience. It was like, 'cause I remember I got my first credit card at 17. It was Montgomery Ward's.
Yeah, I think my first credit card, I want to say Robinson's May Company.
Robinson's
Robinson?
May. My sister worked there. She worked
I
there.
think so. Yeah, I think so.
Oh yeah. And that's
Yeah.
get a credit card, you can start buying stuff, then you pay it off, and you buy more stuff, it gets bigger, and that's the whole thing, getting credit, and that messed up my 20s. I was in debt in my 20s, but in my 30s, I got it all paid off, not in debt anymore.
Yeah.
But you were encouraged. That's the whole thing. It was like just
Yeah.
buy,
Yeah.
get that apartment. Where are you going to live? What kind of,
Right.
it was a whole thing. What kind of job you're going to get? If you went to
Yeah.
college, what are you doing in college? What is your goal?
Yeah.
Like, our generation, we very much were focused on all that stuff. And I think it made it better for us now. We're just
I
like
think so.
we can handle anything. Like we've been through it all. We had a Cold War we had to go through. We had AIDS we went through a lot of stuff back then.
Yeah.
Lots of stuff. We went through all kind of stuff. So now drought in California all those years, all that stuff. We went through all that. So we're survivors. We're like we played outside till the lights came on. I played with Tonka trucks that were made out of metal, climbed trees.
That's right.
We did all that stuff.
We ate lead paint.
Ate lead paint. I sniffed glue. All that stuff.
We sniffed glue.
Did it all. Toxic markers. There's no non-toxic markers back then. They were all toxic.
Everything was toxic.
It was. Everything, paste, everything. It was all toxic.
Oh my God.
We survived, Melissa. We
Yeah.
survived.
We're here. We're here. Bring on the zombies. They had nothing on us.
Exactly. That's why they always say Gen X is the hardest generation because we just like, yeah, we're fine.
Yeah.
Do
We
things.
ate dirt.
Ate dirt. Walk it off. Just walk it off.
Rock it off.
Fine.
That's right.
Walk it off. We'll be fine. You slide down on your knee. You'll walk up with some Bactine on it.
Yes.
Walk it off. We'll be fine.
Yes. Walk it off. Yeah. Heard that a time or two.
Yes. So we'll end it here. Of course, I love it. This is Coffee and Conversation with James and
Melissa.
that's homegirl. Thanks for listening and watching us. Listening and watching us. Yes, I want to say. Some of you guys are listeners, hi podcast listeners, and some of you guys are watching us. Thanks for watching us. We're on Mondays, kids. So just go, like I said, grab your coffee, grab your tea, grab your water. Whatever you want to drink is fine, and just sit with us. And that's what we do. We just talk about all kinds of stuff. We don't script. This is a non-scripted show.
True.
And on occasion, we have guests that come through.
Yes.
So, but go back and check out. So we have some great guests from her side of the family and my side of the family. We have more coming too. We have more coming in the future. But we had some great guests on it that are hilarious. And I want to bring back a couple of yours.
We will.
But check those out also. Because all we do is conversation. And to me, conversation is very important. And it's like we should all be talking more, right?
Mhm.
But we'll see you next time.